Imagine standing at the airport check-in counter with your suitcase packed, your hotel booked, your ride waiting on the other side, and your passport sitting right there in your hand. It doesn't expire today. It doesn't expire next week. It doesn't even expire for 7 months. That sounds ridiculous, right? 7 months is longer than half a year. But this is exactly where travelers get trapped, because the date printed inside your passport is not always the date that matters. And if the answer is no, the airline may deny you boarding before you ever reach immigration. Not because they're being dramatic, not because the agent is having a bad day, because if they fly you to a country where you're not admissible, that airline can be forced to bring you back, deal with penalties, and explain why they transported a passenger who didn't meet entry rules. So let's break down why a passport with 7 months left can still become a problem, how airlines know before you even board, and the 3 checks you need to make before every international trip. First, let's destroy the biggest myth. A valid passport does not automatically mean a travel-ready passport. Those are 2 different things. Your passport can be legally valid as an identity document and still fail the entry rules for the country you're trying to visit. Think of it like a driver's license. It might be valid in your home country, but that doesn't mean it gives you permission to drive everywhere under every condition. Passports work the same way. The passport proves who you are and what country issued it. But the destination country decides whether that passport meets its entry requirements. And a lot of those requirements are built around something travelers call the 6-month rule. Now, the 6-month rule sounds simple, but that's not specific enough. 6 months from what? 6 months from the day you fly? 6 months from the day you arrive? 6 months from the day you leave? 6 months from the end of your visa. That's where this gets messy. Some destinations require your passport to be valid for 6 months beyond your date of entry. Others require 6 months beyond your planned departure. Some require 3 months beyond departure. Some only require that your passport remain valid for the duration of your stay. And yes, a few places have special agreements or exemptions depending on your nationality. That means 2 people standing next to each other at the same airport, flying to the same region, might face different rules because they hold different passports. This is why you can't rely on a friend's travel story from last year. You can't rely on a random forum comment. Let me give you the simplest version. Let's say your passport expires on December 31st. You book a trip that starts in early June and comes back in late June. At first glance, you're fine. You've got about 7 months left when you depart. But if your destination requires 6 months of passport validity after the date you leave, and you're leaving on June 28th, then your passport may need to be valid until December 28th. In that example, you're barely okay. But now, stretch the trip. Maybe you're staying until July 5th. Suddenly, 6 months after departure lands in January. Your passport expires in December. And just like that, a passport that looked safe at 7 months can fail the rule. That's the trap. It's not always about how many months are left today. It's about how many months will be left after the date the destination uses for its calculation. Now here's the part that surprises people. The airline often knows this before you do. When you check in for an international flight, the airline isn't just checking your ticket and your name. They're checking whether your passport details match the entry requirements for your destination, and sometimes your transit country too. Airlines use travel document systems, including industry tools like Thematic, to verify passport, visa, and health document requirements based on itinerary, nationality, destination, and transit points. IATA's Travel Center says it provides personalized passport, visa, and health requirements for specific trips, which is exactly the kind of logic airlines need at check-in. If the answer comes back no, the airline has a problem. Because if they let you board anyway, and immigration refuses you on arrival, the airline may have to fly you back. They may have to manage the disruption. They may also face consequences for transporting someone who didn't meet the rules. So from the airline's perspective, denying you boarding at the first airport is safer than gambling on a border officer thousands of miles away. That's why the gate agents' no can feel sudden, cold, and unfair. But from their side, it's compliance. Now let's talk about the 7-month danger zone. 7 months feels safe because it's more than 6. But it doesn't always give you much margin. A 10-day vacation can eat into that buffer. A delayed return flight can eat into that buffer. A long transit route can complicate that buffer. A visa condition can change how that buffer is calculated. This is where people get caught. They check the rules for the main destination, but not the layover. They check the rules for the first country, but not the second. They check visa requirements, but not passport validity. And the system doesn't care that the mistake was understandable. It only cares whether the documents pass. Let me put this in real-life terms. Imagine a family of 4 going on a long-awaited vacation. Flights, $3,200. Hotel deposit, $900. Tours, $600. Airport parking, $140. New clothes, luggage, travel insurance, pet boarding, another few $100s. They arrive 3 hours early. Everyone's excited. The kids are already asking when they can get snacks. Then one passport fails the validity rule. Not all 4, just one. Now the whole trip is in danger. Do the other 3 go without that person? Does one parent stay behind? Can anything be refunded? Can the passport be renewed in time? Is there an emergency appointment available? This is why the passport validity issue hits so hard. It's not just paperwork. It can blow up an entire trip at the exact moment when it's too late to fix easily. Now, some of you are probably thinking, okay, but don't countries want tourists? Fair question. The reason is risk. Countries want to avoid situations where a visitor gets stuck inside their borders with an expired passport. Maybe the visitor overstays. Maybe there's a medical emergency. Maybe flights are canceled. Maybe there's a legal issue. Maybe the traveler needs to be removed, but their document is no longer valid. Passport validity buffers give governments a cushion. 6 months isn't magic. It's a policy buffer, a way to reduce administrative problems before they happen. Is it frustrating? Absolutely. Is it always intuitive? Not even close. But it's not random. The problem is that travelers usually learn about it from the wrong place. The airline counter, at the worst possible time. So here's what you should do instead. First, check the official entry requirements for your destination before you book. Not after. Before. If you're a US traveler, the State Department's country information pages are one place to start because they list passport and entry requirements by country. If you're a UK traveler, gov.uk Foreign Travel Advice has country-specific entry rules. Other governments have similar official travel advice pages. Second, check your transit countries. This is the part people skip. A layover can matter, especially if you're changing airports, rechecking bags, passing immigration, staying overnight, or flying on separate tickets. Even when you're technically just connecting, document rules can still affect boarding decisions. Third, check the airline's document check process. Many airlines let you enter passport details before departure. Some use automated verification. Some ask for visa and passport information during online check-in. If the system flags you, don't ignore it and hope the airport agent will be more flexible. That's not a strategy. That's a coin toss with your trip. And if your passport expires within the next year, here's my honest advice. Renew earlier than you think you need to. Don't wait until you're inside the 6-month window. Don't wait until flights are booked. Don't wait until peak travel season, when appointments and processing times can become more stressful. Treat 12 months as your warning zone. If you travel internationally, a passport with less than 1 year left is no longer plenty of time. It's paperwork that's about to become urgent. Now, there are exceptions, and this is important. Not every country requires 6 months. For example, some destinations only require passport validity for the length of your stay. Some regions apply a 3-month rule. Some passport holders benefit from specific agreements. US Customs and Border Protection, for instance, notes that many visitors to the United States are generally expected to have passports valid for 6 months beyond their intended stay, but there are exceptions for certain countries. The smarter rule is, never assume. Check the exact requirement for your passport, your destination, your transit, your dates, and your airline. Because the word valid means one thing on your passport page and something much stricter at the airport. Now let's bring this back to the title. Your passport expires in 7 months. Will airlines deny you boarding? The honest answer is, they can, depending on where you're going, when you're returning, where you're transiting, what passport you hold, and what the destination requires. 7 months is not automatically safe. It's close enough to the danger zone that you need to check before you buy the ticket. Here's the simple checklist I want you to use. 1. Find your passport expiration date. 2. Find your final day abroad, not just your departure date from home. 3. Add 6 months as a conservative safety buffer. 4. Check the official rules for every country on the itinerary. 5. Check whether your airline offers document verification before travel. 6. Renew if there's any doubt, especially if your passport expires within a year. That checklist could save you thousands of dollars and a very painful conversation at the airport counter. And if you're traveling as a family, check every passport individually. Children's passports often expire sooner than adult passports, and parents miss this all the time because the passports are stored together and look similar. One expired or nearly expired child passport can stop the entire family. Check each passport, name by name, date by date, page by page. This isn't exciting travel planning. I get it. It's not the fun part. It's not beaches, restaurants, tours, or packing cubes. But it's the part that decides whether the rest of the trip happens at all. Because those are not the same thing. And that difference is why people with months left on their passport still get denied boarding. If this helped you understand the passport validity trap, subscribe for more practical travel breakdowns like this. We're covering the document checks, airline rules, and airport mistakes that can ruin a trip before it begins. And you won't want to learn those lessons at the check-in counter.